Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. The big video is finally here. Moses and I will be making all of our predictions for this year's March Madness. We don't know each other's picks, and before we get into the video, we have an ESPN league that's open to all of you to join. Mo will have his bracket in there, I'll have mine. We're going to go through this video and kind of have like a conglomerate of both of our picks breaking down all the teams, but you'll be able to see our individual brackets in there. Feel free to join, invite your friends. We want to just have a nice community of people, seeing how everyone does. And you could talk that talk if you end up with that banger bracket. Starting things off, we'll talk about the bubble, everything like that. But Mo, any thoughts before we fill this baby out?
It's surreal that this day is finally here. We've been doing our bracketology videos for weeks now, and it's a culmination of all of our thoughts in one video here today. No going back. We're ripping the Band-Aid
No.
off and going in. I'm really excited, really nervous. This is if you didn't see Zay's regional breakdown video that came out yesterday, as he talked about, one of the crazier brackets we've had in a while, and
hands down,
it's been so hard to pick, but ready to make those picks public, I guess.
Yeah, man. And
I
I will throw out there right away, because not the regional video, the video before that, the final bracketology one, it definitely got the most I don't want to say hate, but pushback comments. And I want to tee the video up with this. If you're a fan of a team and we don't pick that team, somebody's got to lose. There's plenty of games in this bracket where I legitimately had plans of both these teams to go on a deep run, but because of the way this bracket's seeded, because of the way things pan out, it can't happen. A team has to lose early. A 1 seed is going to lose a little earlier than people expect. It's going to happen. If you think you can do better than us, the amazing thing is you get to fill out your own bracket. That's all I'm going to throw out there, because I'm not going to go through every pick like, no. These are our picks. It is what it is. If you're going to leave a hate comment, please do it. It helps in the algorithm, but we will not respond.
And come prove the hate in our league if you want to back it up. So
what a way to tie things together. And Mo, I gave my bubble picks and kind of breakdown on the bracket as a whole in the regional video, so you guys can check that out if you want to hear more of like a 20-minute dissection. But Mo, what are your thoughts on the bracket? And obviously the North Carolina inclusion, as a Boise State fan, where this does directly affect you, West Virginia, Indiana, and the other teams there sitting on the bubble.
As soon as I saw North Carolina in the tournament and saw the matchup was against San Diego State, I knew my fate as a Boise State fan was solidified. Even though we had 2 more teams to go, I just knew they weren't going to have 2 Mountain West teams in the play-in. And that is what happened, whether that's right or not. Boise was obviously one of those teams hoping to get in, and came up short. West Virginia, another one who probably, if I'm not a Boise State fan, probably should have been the team to be last in. But they get boxed out. Indiana as well, up and down season, they get boxed out. Just seeing that old man Bubba walk up there on national television and act like we don't know what's going on is just, it's disgusting. It's actually disgusting. And I hope the bracket, the first 4 games, play out in a way that showcase this. We'll see tomorrow and Wednesday, as this is coming out on Monday. But just very, very disgusted in what's going on here, and it's obvious, man. I'm
Yeah.
sick. I'm pretty sick.
It it's for ratings. I said that in the regional video. We could call it what it is. It's ratings gold to have North Carolina and to have Texas sitting there. We can say what it is. My biggest problem is like West Virginia between becomes the first team ever where 111 out of 111 bracket matrix people predicted West Virginia in and they didn't get in. It is highway robbery. And if I'm a West Virginia fan, it's a slap in the face. Them mentioning Tucker DeVries, who hasn't played 75% of the season, hasn't played since the first week of December. Uh, what are we taught? Like that being a reason is just pathetic. It's pathetic. And we'll talk about Louisville. It's so ironic how underseeded they are, considering you bolster a team in for playing in the ACC in North Carolina.
Yeah,
It's
they
terrible.
they talk about, you know, examining the entire body of work, but we all know it was those 2 games in the ACC tournament for the Tar Heels that got them into this situation. Like, that
Beating
is
non-tourney
a
teams.
complete yes, complete just like you're just blatantly lying to everyone.
Yep.
If
Yep.
we're looking at the full resume of the season, there is no chance that team should have gotten in. And yeah, Tucker DeVries probably West Virginia's best player, injured. They've been a great team
Ye
without him post that if you're examining the
Yeah.
entire body of work. So it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
No. It's a slap in the face. And listen, we could go on for an hour. Luckily, we've had a night to sleep on it. And I recorded my video yesterday, so I feel like I've gotten out, the initial anger. But it really is a slap in the face to college basketball fans. And like I said in the video, North Carolina team, they're not capable of it. They're not capable of it because they're shit. But in a spot where they go on a Final Four run, they still don't deserve to be here. I still do not care. The point is they don't deserve to be here. They could win a title, and I still stand by the same point. It doesn't matter because you shouldn't have gotten an invite to the party to begin with.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Pivoting off of this, I saw something interesting on Twitter that I've never thought of that I'm kind of curious your thoughts on. And I agree with it. I've never given it thought, but no 16 seeds should have to do play ins. Only the last 4 teams should. And I agree because you earned your way into the bracket as a 16 seed. Like,
By winning your
we,
conference tourney.
you won yeah. Like, I get
Yeah.
St. Francis, is below 500 in their regular season, but so what? They won their conference. Like, I never thought of it, but once I saw that, I was like, yeah, the only teams that should be playing are the Final Four in because you got to earn your spot. But
Yeah.
the
I
16
really
seeds
like
did it.
that. I really
Yeah.
100%. That is a good point.
Mhm.
Another thing I was thinking of, but it's kind of hard because obviously the bubble is different from year to year, would be like an extended play-in type tournament
Yeah.
where these bubble
Yeah.
teams have to face off. I don't know how that would work out, but
Mhm.
so you actually have to earn your way in instead of,
Y
but I guess that would scrap the resume argument. So I don't know how that would work, but just I
it
don't know.
yeah.
I agree with the
It
16 seeds take for sure.
Mhm. I again never thought of that, but I once I heard the argument, I'm like, yeah, that is a great point. Like, you won your conference, man. You're dancing. You shouldn't have to
Yeah.
go home in the first 4. Like, yes, it's March Madness. Yes, you made the tournament, but it's different. Like, you didn't get the opportunity to play a 1 seed. I don't
Mhm.
know. So, kind of an
I
interesting
agree.
point there, but rants out of the way. Again, join the ESPN tournament down below. It's in the description. I'll also pin it in the comments so you guys can hop in. There isn't a password, so it should be pretty easy. Mo, let's get it started. with the South region, Auburn's region, lost 3 of their final 4 games, and they went from a team a couple weeks ago in our bracketology videos. We said, "This team is an automatic to go Final Four to do all these things because they haven't given us a reason to think otherwise." It's not that way anymore. They've lost 3 of 4, and from what I've seen in those 3 losses, they get frantic and they implode. When it
Yeah,
gets dicey and it gets close, they lash out or they get whiny or they start really complaining about calls, and that is not the team I've been seeing this whole year. So, I'm I'm nervous about Auburn.
I couldn't agree more. The eye test as of late is not giving what it was two,
Yes.
3 weeks ago. This Tigers team, as you said, just whining, complaining, arguing with the
Mhm.
refs mid play, like
Yeah.
just not winning basketball. Um,
Yeah.
Very alarming. Coach Beard kind of just sorry, not Coach Beard,
Bruce Pearl.
Coach Pearl,
Yeah.
deflecting kind of in post game interviews.
Yeah.
Just not
I
not liking it.
It's stinking a little bit, bro. I'm not saying they're gonna lose to a 16 seed. This is not teeing up Mo and I giving the craziest thing ever. But I've pumped the brakes pretty hard. They have the talent. They clearly have the resume, but losing 3 of 4, yeah, that scares me. All of this to say, I guess who do we have winning the 16 game?
St. Francis would be a great story. As you
It
said,
would
they
be.
are um were not expected to. I mean, neither of these teams were expected to win their conferences. St. Francis
Yeah.
out of the Northeast beating, I believe, the team we both picked in Central Connecticut in the final
Mhm.
by a whopping 46-43 final. Um,
Mm.
and Alabama State out of the SWAC. They knocked off Grambling, who knocked off our pick in Southern.
Yeah. What
So
a game.
crazy game, that Grambling Southern game. But I'm gonna go Alabama State. I think
I am too.
they had a little bit of a more tested tourney, uh, put up a little bit more in my eyes than the St.
Yeah.
Francis team. As I said, 46 points in your conference tourney. Not really gonna cut it against Auburn, the SEC regular season
No.
tournament winner. I mean, conference winner. Um, Give me Alabama State, but give me Auburn. I don't know what the spread is, but potentially to cover.
To cover that. Yeah, I mean nothing crazy there. 8-9. This one is where this is tough. We have a Creighton team that has been struggling down the stretch. And a Louisville team that, like I said, to me, Louisville is a 6 seed. They're a 6 seed in 8 seeds clothing. At minimum, they're a 7. I have no clue how the committee, who is clearly glazing ACC teams, could possibly have this team as an 8. It's counterproductive to their own argument to have that, but what do I know?
Yeah.
Creighton with Kalkbrenner, it's been an up and down season. Creighton went into the Big East tourney shaky, made it all the way to the title game before losing to St. John's, who is a 2 seed. Um, I'm picking Louisville. The fact they get to play in Lexington, Kentucky, they get a home game here and really in the round of 32 against Auburn as well. I love it's like they made up for the seeding by giving them pristine location to play at. So I'm going with Louisville.
I also have Louisville. I think the home court advantage is going to play here in the first round, and as you said, maybe even into the second against Auburn.
Yep.
Um, Louisville clears Creighton in both defensive efficiency and points per game. So, liking both sides of the ball there for Louisville. And as you said, Creighton coming into the Big East tournament a little rocky, right in the ship, but kind of fell back into that, obviously, against a wagon in
Yeah.
St. John's. But
Mhm.
I know Louisville also made it to their final and lost to a
Yeah.
down Duke team, but I'm gonna
Uh,
give them the benefit of the
yeah.
doubt. This having a game an hour away from your normal quarters
Yeah.
is absurd, especially as an 8 seed, as you said.
It's a pretty decent, advantage you could say to have that. But again, they got screwed on their seating. I love Chucky Hepburn. I think he has the ability to really, carry this team. He's a very solid defender, can score the ball well, put up 15 to 20 in this game. I think I said it in the video. I love the 8 and 9 seeds overall in this bracket. I think it's making for some true like 50-50 games uh, as fans, and that's exactly what you should want.
I
Um,
totally agree.
Mo, this pains me to say it, but who do you have in Michigan, UC San Diego? Because I know this is a difficult one to pick from.
This is one of the hardest games of the first round for me to pick. You have the Big West winners of UC San Diego, first time being tournament eligible, the whole shebang.
Yep,
Fourth in the country in defensive efficiency. Insane.
it
Shoot the
is.
three pretty damn good at 54th in the country, about 36% as a team. Michigan, on the other hand, Big Ten champs after a rocky end to the season as well,
Mm-hmm.
similar to a Creighton.
Yep.
Um, 33.4% from three puts them at 209th. So San Diego, the Tritons, the upper hand. I unfortunately, as much as I want UC San Diego to win, and I think they could go on a run. We've been talking about it in every bracketology video we've
We
done.
have.
This is a really unfortunate matchup. If I'm Michigan, I'm hot and I'm coming out with a fire with a
Yep.
chip on my shoulder after winning the Big Ten and being given a 5 seed. Yeah, I have the Wolverines. They're gonna dominate the rebounding battle at the size that they have.
Mm-hmm.
43rd to 256th in the country for San Diego. It's gonna be a tough one, but give me the Big Ten champs.
Yeah. Again, this UC San Diego team, very good. One of the best defensive teams in the country. They blitz you. They're quick. They're solid on the perimeter. They can pick you up full court. But I do think even though Michigan is underseeded, there's no way they're a 5 seed and Wisconsin is a 3. It just should not happen. This does bode well for Michigan when your two best players are Golden and Wolf, and the size that they have on the interior. I think it's going to be a serious problem for UC San Diego. So I'm with you. I'm picking Michigan, but this will be a very popular upset pick. And if you do pick it in your bracket, I'm not mad. I think UC San Diego got a tough draw, and I think Michigan got a tough one being underseeded and given a 12 seed that is capable of making it to the second weekend. So,
It's so tough because I fully agree. The size thing, it's tough because yeah, Michigan should be able to exploit that, but so can San
yeah,
Diego on the offensive side, spreading those big men out and shooting like they can. They can shoot
absolutely.
the lights out in this game. Watch out. So I'm not
It's a
not
two-way street.
confident in this pick here. 100%.
Yeah, yeah. The things that benefit Michigan could absolutely play if UC San Diego was hitting those shots. All of a sudden, all right, we might need to hit the
Scary.
pause button. It's getting scary.
Yep.
Speaking of scary, A&M and Yale. This pod is hell to pick.
It's insane.
A&M, they're a team for me midway through the season where I felt like they have Final Four upside, and they still might. I don't know. Wade Taylor, obviously, the tournament is about that guard play. They rebound the ball well. They play some solid defense. They can shoot well. But Yale is experienced. I, they did it. I saw it last year as a 13 seed when they took down Auburn, and how electric that is. It's a similar roster with veteran leadership. They are 7th in the country in 3-point field goal percentage at 38.8%. Just a solid team across the board, and 11th in the country overall in field goal percentage at 49%. Ridiculous. It does set up a fun matchup if they were to win and play Michigan, where they could go against Wolf, who was on this Yale team last year. However, I'm going with A&M to get it done. A tough draw for the Aggies, but I think the talent overall is enough to get them through the game.
I'm going off the board here, man.
Oh, wow. Oh,
I
wow.
have my first upset of the bracket with the Bulldogs is Yale. As you said, the 3-point shooting, I love. Seventh,
So good.
eighth, seventh in the country. Texas A&M on the flip side, 316th in the nation, 31%. The Aggies, they rely on their two senior guards. It's Wade Taylor. It's Zurich Phelps, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Two guards averaging 14 and 15 respectively. And then they rely on the bench, man. They're 44th in the country in bench scoring. Yale, 218th. That's what worries me. If Pulakidis is off, a guy who shoots 41% from three, a guy who
Like, brother.
carried this team with Wolf against Auburn last year in the exact same situation. I have Yale pulling off a narrow upset against another
Hey, man.
SEC team, man. I just, as
It's
good as this
March.
pod is, it's March. I know, I shouldn't just pick an upset just to pick an upset, but I seriously could not get past this pod without one of those teams. Like one of them, I think, has to win a game.
There's a world where they both do.
Yep.
I'm not putting that like I think this is a pod where you could really have two double-digit seeds meeting to go to the Sweet 16. I don't have it, but I'm not mad at the pick. A note I made about A&M, which is one of the crazier ones I've ever seen. A&M has rebounded 42% of its missed shots this year.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up the offensive rebounding numbers. Like that
I
is that can't
what?
last. You can't keep that up, and you're
Yeah.
relying on that for a lot of score. But like that is insane. If they can keep that up, you're right. That's a Final Four. That having that addition
Yes.
alone to your offense is Final Four upside.
Mhm. And we were talking about it last year where Wade Taylor played terribly, terribly last year. I believe he was like 5 of 26 in their elimination game against Houston.
17% from the field or something.
Yeah. It like an all-time stinker. I could see him bouncing back, and he has the ability to average 20 in the tournament. They're going to live, their ceiling is dictated by him, but I think their defense and rebounding is enough to get by a Yale team. But that's a tough one. On to the next region. San Diego State, UNC, San Diego State. That's it. I'm not giving North Carolina any more of my time. Mo, agree? Okay, cool.
I
Not,
have the Aztecs. Yeah.
yeah. And to make it clear, I'm not high on San Diego State.
Nah.
And I can clarify that the easiest by saying I have Ole Miss winning this game. So they have been completely overlooked in the bracket because everyone's mad about North Carolina, rightfully so. But even if they're able to, beat a quad one team, I still don't care. I'm picking Ole Miss.
I also have Ole Miss. The Rebels, man, they are offensively as well rounded as there is. 6 guys similar to Auburn in double digits.
Yep.
Veteran group, bunch of seniors, couple juniors. Just I just cannot let North Carolina walk all over me. And as you
Yep.
said, I'm not high on the Aztecs.
Yeah. I'm with you. Um, Iowa State and Lipscomb. Iowa State, it's tough. 6-4 in their last 10, but the injuries is what scares me the most. They are, when healthy, one of the best guard groups in the country. You could argue the best. Like, that is what the Cyclones can really do to you. Keyshawn Gilbert, though, what is that injury going to be? You have Lipsy as well. Like, I'm concerned for that team. I have Iowa State winning. Nothing crazy here, but I think their ceiling is a little capped by the injury bug, which is crappy because there's nothing you can do about that. Oh no.
I have the
Oh no.
ASUN champions in Lipscomb knocking off the Iowa State Cyclones. The injury, yes, it's not do or die. It worries me. I personally think, if not their best guard, second best guard down the drain, done for the year. Lipscomb, 7th in the country in free throw percentage. Love it if we're in a close game. Iowa State, not too bad themselves, sitting at 52nd. Field goal percentage, Iowa State has the nod. 3-point percentage, they're almost identical. These teams are very
They
identical
are.
statistically. And I really like that for Lipscomb. I'm not sure why.
Wow.
I'm feeling a little the South. I'm feeling a little rumbling in the South, man. It won't matter too much in my bracket either way.
Wow, Mo. I'm loving the hot takes. And of course, I got to get your take here because it is a Mountain West team. This is a team famously last year that I picked to go on a Final Four run that proceeded to not win a single game. Busted my bracket early. Kind of like hybrided the words there, but going against a Marquette team that has really struggled down the stretch in the Big East. We know what they can do. Cam Jones is built for this time of year. I will say this: Donovan Dent, Cam Jones, cinema. That is going to be a banger. But who do you have ultimately winning this game?
As you said, we got guards galore in this one. 2 of the best ones in the country. New Mexico, unfortunately, as good as the season as they've had, I feel like the flame is dwindling, and I have not been a fan of their most recent performances. I feel the same about Marquette, but it is
Yeah.
against better competition, and I personally think the upside for Marquette is higher than this New Mexico team. I have them knocking off the Lobos.
This is when I initially had the bracket come out. I picked New Mexico to win, but I'm going to go with Marquette, the talent of Cam Jones, to give them a game. It's been tough sledding for Marquette. They went from a dominant team where it looked like they could be maybe a 3 seed, 4 seed in that mix to really sliding down this bracket. They just have not given me much confidence, but I will go with them to beat New Mexico. Michigan State, Bryant. This one, out of the 2:15 game, which means you know what's going to happen after I say this. I feel pretty safe on. I think Michigan State out of the Big Ten is going to win pretty handily here.
I agree, although they fell short in the conference tournament. I
Yeah.
think a hiccup was due for this Spartans team. They've been so hot. They've looked so good. Izzo's had them doing all the right things. Would rather them get that loss out then than now, and I don't see it
Yeah.
happening anytime soon for the Spartans. I have them against my American East pick in Bryant, but
Yeah.
good run for the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs. And that leads us into the round of 32. Auburn versus Louisville. And again, this really is a beneficial location for Louisville to cause some problems. Are you bold enough to go with this upset as well?
Dude, as much as I wanted to pull the trigger, I couldn't. I know it's another home game, and I know Auburn has been on a little bit of a downward spiral,
Yeah.
but Louisville's only 2-5 against the top 25 this year. Did great in the conference, but I have the Tigers. They got to make it through the first weekend, man, right?
And that's how I feel. As seriously
Yeah.
concerned as I am about Auburn, I'm trusting the talent. I'm trusting that they're going to have the best player in the game and that he can come through and broom and will them to a victory. But damn, man, this is a very tough one. This is part of Louisville being underseeded where it screws over Auburn. Like they
Yeah.
shouldn't have to play a team that good. Even Creighton, even if your pick is Creighton, that's not an easy one either. Obviously, you got to play a good 8-9 seed, but tough draw for Auburn. I agree with you though. I think they're at least going to get through to the second weekend. What they do from there, only time will tell.
TBD.
Since I've already got it set up on the bracket for you, you have Michigan and Yale. Do you have the Bulldogs going on and continuing their run to get a rematch against the Tigers, or are you sticking with Michigan?
Man, that would be cinema, and I would really like the Bulldogs' chances if they were to make it through the Wolverines. But I think this little bit of magic comes to a close. I like the bigs and my spark plug for Michigan, their third leading scorer, Trey Donaldson, to come up big, make some big shots down the stretch. Um, but man, I'm wary of these Yale boys, dude. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm. They could be on it again.
Yeah. I think if that game were to happen, it would obviously be great. As for me, I have A&M going against Michigan, but I have the same outcome. I have the Wolverines going dancing to the Sweet 16. I love the way they're playing right now. I hope they play with a chip on their shoulder, being underseeded and setting up for a hell of a game against Auburn to go to the Elite Eight. Since we've got it set up for you again here, Lipscomb University against Ole Miss, do you have a surprise here?
I do not. I'm having the SEC reign supreme again. I have Old Miss beating, ending the mini Cinderella run for Lipscomb.
Yeah. The slight jog. They got a little. I mean, listen, if you get a win over Iowa State, you end the season very happy.
Yeah.
Um, Another spot where I have the Cyclones playing Ole Miss, and I have Ole Miss winning. I am not sold on Ole Miss, and we know how it is. All of these play-in teams end up winning a game or two. I think luckily for Ole Miss, I'm not too concerned about North Carolina or San Diego State. Obviously, the Aztecs can grind you out, but I like this path for Ole Miss to make it to the Sweet 16 when they're clicking offensively and really hitting those threes. They can beat any team in the country. They're versatile on defense, athletic across the board. I like this Rebels team to go to the Sweet 16 and play the winner of Marquette and Michigan State. This is where, for me, I'm just sold on the Spartans. I'm sold on Tom Izzo and the shakiness of Marquette. I there's no reason for me to have too much confidence in knocking off a Spartans team who I will say their ceiling is capped because they shoot the three ball about as well as I can. It holds them it really holds them back from being a contender, but everything else they've got well. They've got solid guard play, they rebound well, they play some good defense. Every other facet of their game is pretty solid, but obviously their shooting is a concern and I think does hold them back from winning a title. Do you have the Spartans getting through as well, or do you have Marquette?
I also have the Spartans, the
Okay.
team ability of the Spartans. I agree, Marquette, a little too rocky and relying on Cam Jones to do it all, I would say at
Yeah.
times. I just, as you said, I'm trusting the defense, offense, the whole package that comes with Michigan State, including the lack of shooting. I think they'll be able to manage.
Yeah. And a very complete team across the board for the Spartans. Like, it's not really, we got one guy who's really getting it done. We've got a group of guys who all get solid minutes. They're deep enough to really get at you. So I love it through all the upset picks that you had, the bold picks. We end up with the same Sweet 16. And I guess I'll rip the Band-Aid off first. I have Michigan defeating the Auburn Tigers to go to the Elite Eight. I have been up and down on this Wolverines team all year. They have the upside of a team that's capable of going to the Final Four, and they have clearly shown as recently as going into their conference tournament that they can lose in the first round to UC San Diego. They have a tough path. And Auburn is clearly good enough and the better all-around team. But the way Michigan is playing, I'm going to trust the heater they're being on and have them go to the Elite Eight, sending the number one overall seed home earlier than expected.
As they said at the beginning of the video, we do not know each other's picks.
Let's
But
go,
I'm
man.
following my man. It's so crazy. You watch our first three bracketologies, you would have thought both of us were picking Auburn to win, no doubt. And we could
Yep.
be really dumb for switching up on them. But as we said, 3 out of the last 4 until proven otherwise. It has been proven otherwise. And yes, Michigan, same
Exactly.
thing. They were struggling, but they're hot now. Zay, I have them for all the same reasons you do. I'm
Yep.
trusting the double bigs to get it done. It's been a big man tournament the last few seasons, as much as we talk about the
Yep.
guards. Give me the bigs in Michigan, man.
Yeah. I love it. And Ole Miss and Michigan State, we know what this has the potential to set up. And I have it happening. I have the Spartans and Izzo going up against Michigan in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. Mo, what do you have?
As dominant as the SEC has been, the South is a Big Ten dominated region. I have Michigan State as well, knocking off Ole Miss. I had to pump the brakes on them after their unfortunate SEC exit. I mean, it's also the same with Michigan State. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a risk here, but
It is.
trusting Izzo in much. I'm trusting the team. I hope the 3-point shooting bug doesn't come to bite them because Ole Miss they can strap them. But
They can. They can. And this sets up a rivalry made in heaven. Michigan State. Who do you have going to fill the first Final Four spot?
The Spartans are heading to the Alamo, San Antonio, to face off against my West region winner. They get their get back, man. They get the W.
Yeah, Michigan State recently has outperformed the Wolverines, and I'm sticking with that again. What a successful season for the Wolverines if they were to make it here. Devastating to lose to your rivals, but we know what time of year it is, man. He has done it with less, and this Michigan State team is good. It's complete. It is Final Four worthy, and I'm with you taking the Spartans to the Final Four. We end up with our first Final Four team being the same. Now, what way do we want to go, Mo? Do we want to go over to the right side and pick East? Do we want to go to the West side and fill out the left half of the bracket? What are you feeling?
Let's go West. Let's get our left side done. Let's
Let's
get our
do it.
first Final Four
Let's do
matchup
it.
set.
Let's do it. Florida, Norfolk State, Florida coming off winning the SEC and really building some incredible momentum heading into the tournament. They are complete. They got the guard play in Walter Clayton, who is a vet, able to lead this team on a deep run. This was a Florida team I trusted to go deep last year that did burn me, but this Spartans team, or Spartans, this Gators team is better than they were last year. And sadly for Norfolk State, this may be the biggest blowout of the first round.
I couldn't agree more. Quick shout out to Norfolk, our winner, I believe both of us, out of the
Yes.
Mid-Eastern
Yep.
Athletic Conference, getting the job done, being the team expected to come out of there. It's honestly, that alone, that doesn't happen all the time. The top dog, they fall short. So good on Norfolk State. But what a nice little present. You get to face off against the SEC champion Florida Gators. As you said, not going to yap on too much longer. The depth, the guard play, the All-Americans, they have all of it. This Gators team is primed to do big things.
I agree with you. And even through injuries this year, it hasn't phased them. They've remained consistently good. This 8v9 game, oh man. UConn going for a three-peat. Spoiler, it will not happen. It
from
won't.
downtown.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the Valentine. Oh my goodness. It's not happening, but we know what Dan Hurley does in this time of year. You can never count them out. There's no denying the talent of UConn. They have talented players. Solo Ball, Lee McNeely, a very solid team, really across the board, but they have not been able to piece things together. I want to pick Oklahoma and Jeremiah Fears. Talk about guard play. Has the ability to really drop 25-30 on UConn, whose defense has been iffy at best this year. But I just can't pick Dan Hurley to lose his first game. I'm going with UConn, but I don't love it.
Dude, it was so much more fun last year having UConn as a cop out, just penciling them into the national championship and then filling out everything else.
Yeah.
That is couldn't be further from the case this year. I also am going to lean UConn in this matchup, but Fears is a stud, as you said, freaking freshman that could take over this game and win it. But
Yeah.
UConn in solo ball, a sophomore, a young guy himself, able to do the same. I just the talent for UConn is there. It just hasn't gelled. I think Dan will get
Yeah.
him to get one.
Yeah. And another team that's been banged up throughout the year, like it's been tough to get them to gel. And I think the theatrics that come with having Dan Hurley as a coach have kind of hindered them. We know how good he is, but I do think it has hurt them this year because they're not as talented as they have been with the previous two teams that have won titles. Um, but we got them winning a game, so they're going home with something. And as our Mountain West analyst, of course, Memphis, Colorado State. This is maybe the most popular 12 over 5 matchup to be an upset at this point. I don't even think it's an upset to pick Colorado State. I think you're just picking the team expected to win.
I was going to say it's not an upset anymore. They are the favorite in this game. And as
Wow.
hot as Colorado State is, and as good as Nick Clifford is,
And he's good.
He's damn good. Memphis has a player of their own in PJ Haggerty who dropped 41 to shave off elimination in the American. Like, I just think I know the health of Tyrese Hunter is a big question mark in the game, the senior for the Tigers. And they looked
Yeah.
like a different team without him in the championship. It was rough against UAB. They got the job done, but barely. Kind of turned it on at the end there. The score made it a lot further than the game actually was. It was a pretty tight game all throughout.
It was.
I love Dane Danger was putting up like 20-8 throughout the conference tourney, just clearing his regular season numbers. I'm gonna stick with Memphis, man. I know Colorado State's the popular pick, and I can definitely see them winning this game, especially with how good their bench is playing right now. Everything kind of clicking for them. I'm gonna go Penny and the Tigers, and they've done it against a Mountain West team before. I know very well.
Yeah.
Just a couple years ago. I'm gonna take them, but as we've talked about, it's been that upside to maybe first round exit for the Tigers all season long, and an injury to their third best player doesn't help.
Yeah. We've talked about Memphis through all these bracketologies that they are one of the biggest boom or bust teams in the bracket. This feels to me like the 12-5 game where everyone picks the 12 seed and the 5 seed ends up winning. It feels like that. It has all of the makings of everyone picking Colorado State and Memphis still walking away winning by 10. Tyrese Hunter being out though really concerns me. And even with that feeling in my gut, which is probably what I should be listening to, I'm taking Colorado State to still win. I think Clifford obviously is incredible, very versatile, can play all across the board for Colorado State. We know the history of the Mountain West in the tournament as recently as last year hasn't been great, but I'm going to trust Colorado State to get the win. It's tough though. This does, like I said, it feels like the game. Everyone picks Colorado State, me included, and Memphis ends up winning. I like the way, you want to talk about teams that are heading into the tournament playing their best basketball. Colorado State is doing that, winning the Mountain West, double digit win streak. I'm going with them to take down Memphis.
I am not mad at all. They could very well go on a run here, similar to an SDSU. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it'll be a great game. One of the best games of the opening round of the tournament, regardless of who you have winning. Next up, 4 seed Maryland, 13 seed Grand Canyon. What's your gut telling you with this game?
Man, this one feels kind of similar to, as you said, with Colorado State. everyone's just kind of batting their eye with Maryland and not even giving really Grand Canyon a chance in this game. Although they very well could win this game, the Lopes, I am going with the Terrapins and
Yeah.
the unbelievable starting five that they have to win this game. But, I mean, watch out for Tyon Grant Foster, who knows what an
Still
upset
there.
feels like. Still there
Yeah.
on the Lopes, averaging 14 this year. We'll see, man. This could be a very slept-on game.
I think so too. Maryland, I've said all year, they are the best starting five in the country, especially offensively. Derek Queen, a future NBA, probably lottery pick, maybe top 10, depending. Who knows? Listen, if he takes this Terps team on a run, it might skyrocket his stock even more. I saw that myself with Zach Collins as a Zags fan, where he just rocketed himself up a draft board and then declared after his freshman year. Um, it's a very talented Maryland team. It's a team that I've absolutely loved to watch play. I like this draw for them. I have Maryland advancing to take on Colorado State. Um, but like you said, this Grand Canyon team pulled an upset off last year. Another game I was in person to see, and it was rowdy. St. Mary's did get screwed. There's no denying that. There's no reason they should have had to play in the kennel at their rivals' home court as the higher seed against Grand Canyon. But
With
it
half of the
happened. They ended up
population
losing.
living in Spokane. Yeah, it's
Yes.
insane.
Like, come on, man. But I'm picking Maryland to win. This Maryland team is serious and a dark horse to go Final Four.
I
So,
agree. It's crazy. You look at their top 5 all in double digits, and then their next guy after that, 3.6 points. It
it's
is
non-existent.
so scary. It's so scary.
Yep.
But as you said, Derek Queen, man. Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
That brother is a dog. That br-
Disgusting.
I for it might have been Maryland's head coach who made the comment of if Derek Queen was white and European, he would be the first overall pick in this year's draft.
It's
I
crazy.
We can leave that up for speculation, but a hilarious comment nonetheless. Missouri and Drake. What we cannot leave up to speculation is this is in my top 3 most excited games of this opening first round. This is going to be basketball heaven. You're going to get Mark Mitchell going up against Bennett Sturts. This Drake team, a team that we have seen in this tournament many a times. They've kind of become a mid-major darling to make it, but this team is not built like the normal ones. It is a new head coach, a new regime, a ton of D2 transfers who won a title at that level. Their head coach has won multiple titles at the D2 level. Being at Drake, being one of 6 teams in the country to hit the 30 win mark. This Drake team is serious. Bennett Sturts could be the name of the tournament, but this Missouri team is no joke. You cannot pencil Drake in to just beat Missouri and act like it's a given. Battle tested in the SEC. Mark Mitchell, like I said, putting up 14 a game. It's a very solid Missouri team, a game that I've gone back and forth on. I'm landing on the upset pick, though. Give me the Drake Bulldogs to advance.
Wow. I respect it. Drake, one of the best defenses in the nation, and Bennett Sturts, I believe he was an All American, which is absurd from a mid major.
Yeah.
I am sticking in the SEC with Missouri
Oh,
and the
man.
upside play here. All these damn 6 seeds are crazy upside plays, and I
They
so
are.
far am rocking with them. The big thing for the Tigers, 36 bench points per game. Third in the nation. insane depth. As you said, Mark Mitchell, just an absolute baller. I'm gonna stick with the SEC, the offensive ability of the Tigers, but Drake, man, they're gonna slow this game down. They're gonna make
Yep.
Missouri play at a pace they don't want to play. It's gonna be one of the more fun games of the first round.
And one of those games too where, like we said, I could see both these teams making the second weekend. But the way the bracket panned out, you got to send one home in their first game, and that sucks because both
Mm-hmm.
Drake and Missouri are very good. Missouri does have a win over Vanderbilt this year. A very impressive outing from them. I believe it was like their 6th or 7th game of the season. They have a win over Miami. They have a win over FAU. So they've played some teams in the non-con that are Power 5, even if Miami and FAU are not anything special. But the win over Vanderbilt, a win over a team in the field, does look good. We'll see what can happen going forward. Texas Tech and UNC Wilmington. I really, really like this Texas Tech team. JT Toppin, the name to follow, of course. He's been great all year. I don't expect anything different for him in this year's tournament. UNC Wilmington, they are a team that I predicted to win. They are a great offensive unit. They shoot the ball pretty well. Very well, excuse me. 57th in the country. As for Texas Tech, they are 61st in the country, 20th in 3-point field goal percentage, where UNC Wilmington struggles in that department. I've got Texas Tech pretty comfortably here, getting a win.
I do as well. Love the 3-point shooting of Tech. Love the scoring that JT Toppin brings. The transfer from New Mexico guy, that team that you fell in love with, say. But hey, it's gonna click with the Raiders, the Red Raiders. I
Don't
think
burn me
here
again.
for Toppin. Love the scoring of Texas Tech. And yeah, I just think it's going to overwhelm this UNC Wilmington team.
And now, Kansas, a team we have been very open about distrusting, not enjoying. Hunter Dickinson, obviously capable of winning a game or two for this team due to being an old man and still playing college basketball. But playing an Arkansas Razorbacks team where Calipari, you look at this region and my God, Bill Self, John Calipari, and Rick Pitino in this pod. What a gauntlet from a head coach's perspective, where in college basketball, the coaches are still the stars. It's not the NBA level where it is the players. Star power at the coaching spot. I've got Arkansas pulling a baby 10-7 upset. They did a good job of earning their way into the bracket in their final 4 games. I made it clear they needed to win 3 of 4. If they wouldn't have dropped that South Carolina loss, they could have been seeded maybe as a 9 seed. But I like what they did in the SEC, did enough in the tournament, beating South Carolina to earn their spot. And I've got them beating Kansas in this game.
Yeah, I'm sure they're thankful they were a 10 in this region compared to a 9 in the region across. Georgia kind of got a little screwed there. But anyway, we'll get there. I also have the Razorbacks knocking off the Jayhawks. Just not going from the number 1 ranked team in the nation to unranked. They pushed Houston here toward the end of the season. I believe it was a 5-7 point loss. Too little, too late. Arkansas winning to get in basically the last few weeks of the year.
Yep.
I think they've already been in March Madness headspace, and they're going to continue that in the first round here.
Yeah, and then you get St. John's, Omaha. St. John's is a team we both have been very high on. I know the Big East isn't what it normally is, but 18-2 in conference play, one of 6 teams in the country to knock 30 wins down, winners of their last 9. This Johnny's team, while they can't shoot the ball very well from long range, and by not very well, I mean basically not at all, they are incredible at hustling their ass off, rebounding, aggressive in the paint. They blitz you. I love the St. John's team, maybe my favorite team to see play basketball this year. And I've got them handling Omaha pretty comfortably.
I agree. Love everything about this St. John's team. They basically have it all minus the shooting, but it's come and gone throughout the year. I don't think it's going to bite them until potentially in those Elite Eight, Final Four rounds against those
Yeah.
really, really solid offensive teams. Love RJ Lewis as well. 18 and 7 boards, just an unreal talent for the Johnnies. And I have them knocking off Omaha to close the round of 64 in the West.
Having guards who can rebound at the level that they do at St. John's is an absolute blessing. It just totally opens things up for you as a team and gives you some room for error to make up for it. So
Yep.
I really like the St. John's team, as you will see going through this bracket. Florida, UConn, gave UConn the win because of Dan Hurley, but I'm not giving them this win over Florida, the superior team, without a doubt, more talented. I love this Gators team, and I've got them beating UConn, even though this is a scary game for you to have to go up against the back-to-back champs.
Yeah, it'd be a great test early in the tournament for this Gators team. And like you, I think they are going to beat the Huskies in this one. Just it's a little too late, although you get a first round victory if you're UConn. It's not going to be enough against this loaded Gators team.
Yep. And this is one I feel like some maybe more casual fans are going to pick UConn. Listen, what do I know? I can't see the future. Don't do that. Just pick Florida. They're the better team.
Yeah.
Colorado State, Maryland here, which is what I have. You have Memphis, but I'll make this one short. I've got Maryland winning either way. Even if Memphis gets through, I trust this Terps team more to go on a Sweet 16 run. So I've got Maryland taking care of business. Love the momentum of Colorado State. I just think Maryland is the better team. That starting 5 is incredible.
Yeah, man. In my matchup, Maryland versus Memphis, I feel the same way about the Terrapins. They are going to get the job done against this Memphis team, dude, I'm kind of regretting my Memphis first round pick, but it doesn't really matter if I have them going out in the round of 32.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Missouri, Texas Tech, which is what you have here. I have Drake, Texas Tech. Do you have Missouri continuing to pour it on?
I have Texas Tech knocking off the Tigers, rolling on through to the Sweet 16. A team that snapped Houston's home streak of a 30 to 32, 33 games this season in a crazy overtime where JT Toppin he got ejected. I really like the heart of this Texas Tech team.
I have Drake in Texas Tech, and similar to you, I have Texas Tech winning. So good on defense, rebound the ball well, the star power, obviously. Give me the Red Raiders to make it to the second weekend. Arkansas, St. John's, Calipari, Patino. New destinations for the both of them. I think St. John's, too talented, is going to get by John and advance to play Texas Tech.
I agree. St. John's 4 losses on the season. They've all been single digits. They've really only struggled against those top offenses and have lost in narrow fashion. I think Pitino wins the coaching battle as well, and the Johnnies roll to the Sweet 16.
And what a chalky region for us. The top 4 seeds making it to the Sweet 16. It's gonna happen, man. It's the way it goes. And sadly, I wanted to pick Maryland here so bad. And I think if you give Maryland a couple other 1 seeds, if you give Auburn to them, I'd lean Maryland. Duke is close. So Houston, I think I'd lean Houston. But all this to say, I'm picking Florida, but I did give this some serious consideration just because of how much I respect Maryland as a team.
I have to agree with you on this one. It was a hard one for me to pick. And yeah, if Maryland was facing an Auburn who is struggling, a Duke who has injury questions, might pick them. But this Gators team, the depth, the strength, I think it's going to play in this game. We saw it most recently in this SEC final against Tennessee. Yep. Some of Tennessee's guys got in foul trouble, and they had freshmen who hadn't really played minutes playing. I foresee the same kind of issue, unfortunately, here for the Terrapins, getting into some foul trouble and the depth not being able to keep up. Give me the Gators.
And a Texas Tech St. John's game. What a fun one to have to go to play Florida. And I'm letting my boys win. I got St. John's making it. I'm cheering there with Spike Lee, who I've never seen at a St. John's game in my life, but man, he was decked out, ready to go. That's the GOAT. He can do whatever he wants, though. It's fine. But I've got the Johnnies, a 1-2 Elite 8. Are you with me? Or are you trusting Texas Tech?
This is insane, man. Sorry if you came here to the West for 2 differing opinions. Zay and I have been pretty locked in, and it's not changing. I really wanted to go Texas Tech here because I was sleep on them. I was kind of giving them the short end of the stick in every one of our bracketologies. Have them going on a little bit of a run here. But I just think St. John's is too good to go out that soon, man. Although it's the 3-point shooting, it's the free throw percent. I think they can win. They've won close games. They figure out a way to get it done, and I see that happening here.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, and I guess I'll make this pick here in the Elite Eight since I may have accidentally gotten ahead of myself. I'm picking Florida to make it to the Final Four to play Michigan State in a battle to go to the title game.
I also have the Florida Gators.
Oh man.
The scoring of Florida, I think this is where it comes into. Dude, this sucks. This sucks. I'm about to crash out. But yeah, I have Florida as well.
Yeah, man. It's tough, but I'm not mad at the way this is shaping up. I think they're 2 Final Four teams. We've talked about it all year. They've shown us. I'm cool with locking it in. Let's go over to a region that my God has given me a lot of time to think. We'll do the East, aka Dukes. The big question mark, Cooper Flagg. Is he good? If he's good, I love this path for Duke to go on a run. We'll have to see. The other note that is not being talked about, because obviously everyone is worked up over Flagg, is Malik Brown being banged up. He is really that versatile backbone on defense that Duke has. And we'll have to wait and see with his shoulder injury what that is. There's a couple of question marks. I feel that way about this entire region. You have Duke with those ones. You have Grant Nelson at Bama, who are 5-5 in their last 10, who are a 1 seed that played themselves into a 2. You have Wisconsin as a 3 seed, who is overseeded to me. Still a good team, but they're overseeded here. You have Arizona, Tommy Lloyd's history. You have Oregon, who gets to play in Seattle. This region, I am going to put the caveat out first. I reserve the right to change this one in the coming days because I have no clue, but we'll make our picks here either way. Mo, any surprise, or what's your pick for the 16 game and then Duke?
In this 16 seed matchup, I have American winning the play-in game.
I do too.
But as you said, injuries are a big question mark. Duke is not going to lose to a 16 seed. I have them winning in a cruising fashion.
They cannot play Coop and they're still winning it.
Yep.
Like
they should not play him, honestly.
Or at least like bring him in a limited, like say, hey, 20 minutes is your. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so whatever the doctors say is follow that. But I think they might need him back in an 8-9 matchup or the winner of that. But I think they can skate by clearly in a game against the 16 seed. Mississippi State and Baylor. This is another one of those great 8-9 matchups down to the wire. 4-6 in their last 10 for both squads here. I'm going with Baylor. They're kind of like, hilariously enough, the antithesis of like an Akron in this region, where Baylor wants to slow you down a little more. They're able to hit their shots. They want to get into their half court. VJ Edgecombe as a freshman. There's a possibility. I'm not saying he's going to be the second overall pick. We know Coop's the first. There's a chance if we get Baylor Duke, it's the number 1 and number 2 overall pick going head to head.
Yeah. That would be so sick, man.
It would be pretty awesome. But who do you have here?
I'm joining you with VJ and Baylor. Can't forget Norchad Omier, the senior, leading the way for the Bears. Got to give some props to Mississippi State, too. They got some good scores in Josh Hubbard and Keyshawn Murphy. But I like the Bears to pull off the 9-seeded win here. I've had, I believe, all the other 8 seeds win so far.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I'm switching up my flow.
Got to pick a 9 seed, I will say one of my biggest like annoyances is when like sports analysts say I'm picking an upset, I've got a 9 over an 8. It's not an upset. It's a 50-50 coin flip. That's the point. So
yeah,
you're not picking an upset by picking a 9. Anytime a talking head says that, I'm like, come on, man. It's not a bull
stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. But Oregon Liberty. Now this could be an upset. The Flames against the Ducks. The Ducks are very good. Dane Altman in this first round knows how to get it done. They were capable of a run last year in the tournament. What have you got in this banger first round matchup?
This one is super scary because, as you said, Liberty should be a popular upset pick here. They are really good defensively. They're also on the plus side of things offensively. They have depth. They're a veteran team. Liberty is scary, man.
Yep.
But the Ducks, out of the Big Ten, they've navigated the waters, and although it was rough for them in the conference, they came to play a little bit in the tourney. I have the Ducks winning this matchup, but I'm nervous, dude. I'm nervous on this one.
Yeah.
Another
I,
5-12 that's pulling at my heartstrings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there's a real chance, obviously, that Liberty can win this. I've got Oregon. They're great on both sides of the basketball, and the biggest advantage for them is getting to play in Seattle. I think that is, to me, the thing that shifts this. I'm going to give the Ducks the win, setting up for a great game over the winner of Arizona and Akron. Oh, do I do it?
You may as well, because I'm gonna.
Oh man. Go ahead then. Go ahead then. Say what you want to
You may as
say.
well, because I have the Akron Zips, the undersized Akron Zips of Ohio, the winners in the MAC, 17-1 conference record, including the tournament. Give me Akron to get it done. We know what they can do offensively. They are really good. Defensively, with the lack of size, it's a little bit concerning, especially against this Arizona team. But the Wildcats, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. It could be Tommy Lloyd saying the West is soft and them having to play in Seattle and the crowd, the clip playing in the arena and the crowd chanting, "Boo, you suck. Go Akron. We want an underdog." Could be that driving me. It could be the voices up here. But I have the Zips, man, in another 13 seed upset. I gave you enough time to join me here.
You have. Thank you for that. I'm going to pick Arizona. I'm going to pick Arizona. Now, here's the tough thing. The Wildcats are a team that again, solid guard play. But in terms of their tournament success, they're going to live and die by Caleb Love. Point blank. They can go on a deep run because of him, or he can shoot them out of a game and they can lose to the Akron Zips. They have great pieces, obviously, surrounding him. It's not a one-man team, but I'm going with Arizona. This is the hardest region for me to pick,
This one is
and
insane. Yeah.
it gets, even worse with this. To me, is the best game of the first round. BYU and VCU. Two teams I would have loved to have go on a deep run. That one team is going to go home winless. I love this
So
VCU team.
crazy.
Picked them to win their conference. BYU, the high octane offense. They shoot the three ball and they do it very well. Did a good job in the Big 12, 14-6 in conference play. And I know they got smacked around by Houston by 20 to go home in the conference tournament, but they were on fire before that, blowing out tournament teams. 2 wins over Iowa State in 3 games, a win over West Virginia, who's a turn, and then beating Arizona, beating Kansas. I'm picking BYU, but brother, I flip-flopped on this game over and over and over.
I agree. One of the tougher ones to pick in the round of 64. Dude, man, we've been locked in, man. I'm going with BYU as well.
Yeah.
As good as VCU has been, and yes, I also picked them out of the A10 as well in the conference
Yep.
tourney. Love Max Shulga, ex-Utah State guy. Seen him live in the
awesome.
Mountain West. He's a stud. I just think it's the upside. That's on these 6 seeds, man, and the upside plays. Ole Miss. Who else was on that list? Missouri. These 6 seeds might go out in the first round they could also go to the Final Four, and I think
Yep.
that's what BYU is on. As you said, the Houston loss is scary, but it's Houston, and they turned it up in the Big 12 tournament. They were cooking everyone.
They
BYU
did.
wasn't a lone star, lone wolf case.
Mhm.
I have the Cougars in this matchup, but man, it is tight. I love the depth. And yeah, I think the offense is going to come to play in this one after a bad taste was left in their mouth against Houston.
As the resident Big Sky fan or Big Sky alum, I could do this Wisconsin-Montana game. Wisconsin by 20. This is not going to
What?
be close.
What? Not even you don't think the Grizzlies got a shot?
No. I let
I
me
low
let
key
me before.
I
Oh, say it.
I
No,
could be
say it
cra
then. Say it.
I'm not picking I'm with you. I'm with you. I have the
Oh, okay. I was
Badgers.
about to say, I'm like,
I
wait a minute, wait a minute, bro.
I I'm not picking that would be crazy if I had 13 and 14 seeds win in two separate regions. That would be insane.
That would be insane. But
I'm just I know they made it to the Big 10 tournament and final, and I know that Tanje's really good, and I'll put my money where my mouth is in the next round. I'll see them then. Montana, they can shoot a little bit. You know, they can get hot, could be close. Wisconsin was not hot in the Big 10 final, but I agree they're going to win
hell
this
no.
game. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess I'm just being a hater
No,
a
I love
little
it.
bit.
Keep hating.
But yeah, this Wisconsin team is so weird because they are overseeded. They're not deserving of a 3. I think to me they're a 4. Nitpicky, but you know, what else am I gonna do as a fan besides nitpick? I yeah, I just think Wisconsin's got it. Not too much concern here for me, but hell, if I'm wrong, Moses gave Montana the credit that maybe I should have.
We'll see, man.
And then you go to the WCC in the next one. St. Mary's, Vandy. Vanderbilt has proven they are capable all year of dethroning these top teams in a conference that's loaded 14 teams into the tournament. They're very solid. They obviously are led by Jason Edwards, who is a certified bucket, putting up 17 points in 25 minutes a game. Incredible. The Gales able to slow you down, grind you out. They want to go through Marshallonis. They want to go by Saxon down low, and they want to slow down that pace. I think that is what is going to win ultimately for St. Mary's, and I've got the Gales advancing over Vanderbilt.
I also have the Gales over Vandy, although Vandy is another one of those 10 seeded SEC
Yep,
teams that could very well win in this round and maybe push the 2 seed in the next round.
totally.
I do have the Gales. I didn't realize that Marshallonis and Muraskis, if that's how you say his name, I didn't realize they were
Mhm.
both Lithuanian, which is kind of sick.
Oh, snap.
They have that
Yeah.
bond beyond obviously being teammates and killing it together in the WCC all year. As you said, Saxon, kind of that piece,
Mhm.
man. That if he gives you that double double, that 15 and 10, the Gales are looking pretty damn good. Like they're gonna win the
Yeah.
game. I have them knocking off Vandy.
Yeah. And that leaves us with the 2v15. I have to be honest. If I'm picking any 15 in this tournament, I'm picking Robert Morris to beat Alabama. Now, 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 that isn't saying that I don't like Bama, but they have looked shaky. I forget what the stat is, but a 2 seed in the or 1 seed in that opening round, it's very possible. I think we've seen it in 3 of the last 4 years where a 15 seed has taken care of business. I'm picking Alabama to win, but I'm throwing the caveat out there. If I'm picking a 2 seed to lose, their first game, it is going to be Bama. I've still got the Tide though.
Robert Morris, our pick out of the horizon, getting the job done. They have some defense. They have some scoring. They have not seen an Alabama team,
No.
uh, a team even close to this Alabama team, honestly, in their non-conference. I have the Crimson Tide winning this game. But as you said at the beginning of this region, injury question marks, Grant Nelson, Mark
Yep.
Sears, a little something. He's going to play, but a little Nick, maybe not 100%. It's scary, dude. This region is definitely the hardest
Terrifying.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, this feels like the region where like an 8 seed gets through and just Mississippi State or Baylor makes a deep run and you're like, "Well, oh well. I I don't know what I was supposed to do." Um Setting us up for that game, I guess, accidentally. Uh Duke and Baylor, Mo, is this where you have Duke being upset, or do you think the talent, even with the question marks around the team, is enough?
According to ESPN, one seeds since 2019 are 12-0 against the 9.
Wow.
I am not going to be the anomaly. No Jason Tatum. I have the
Mm,
Blue Devils
mm.
winning this matchup. Hopefully, by this point, I guess it's only a few days later, but hopefully by this point, especially if Cooper is on that minutes restriction / doesn't play, he's good. And I think the full strength Blue Devils will knock him off. Even if he's injured, honestly, this would be a really tight, close game. And
I think
I
so too.
might lean Baylor, but I'm giving Duke the benefit of the doubt either way.
I am too. It's already up on the bracket, so I may as well ask you first. Oregon, Akron, do the Zips have a little more in them to go up against Duke?
I didn't get too freaky with my upsets, man.
Oh,
I had him winning a game. I might need a Cinderella run here. I have one more region, but it's not happening in this one. I have Oregon.
yeah, I have Arizona going against Oregon in Seattle. Some Pac 12 zest, some flavor in there, obviously, previously with those teams. So that is awesome. But I've got Oregon getting through. Them playing in Seattle. Altman, incredible as a coach. I love battle on that team. Give me the Ducks to make the Sweet 16 and square off against the Blue Devils. 6v3, BYU, Wisconsin. You want to see it get a little freaky? It's about to get a little freaky. Give me BYU to dethrone Wisconsin. I love the way they are playing right now. I love their offensive ability, and I feel like I can rely on them to be a little bit more consistent of a team than I can Wisconsin at this very moment.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to remind you that we do not know each other's picks. I have
Yep.
Brigham Young University knocking
Mm.
off the Wisconsin Badgers in the round of 32, making it through the first weekend and setting up an electric Sweet 16 matchup for whoever they get.
This St. Mary's Bama game is the two antitheses, and if that's even the way to say it, of one another. Bama, they play like an NBA team. We want to play fast. We want to run. We want to shoot threes. Anyone behind the 3-point line, they're a threat. That's the way Bama plays. St. Mary's, they want to grind you out. They want to slow you down. I do think it's easier to slow a team down than to speed a team up. But I'm going to go with Alabama. But if St. Mary's ends up in that Sweet 16, do not be surprised.
Dude, this one was really hard as well for me to pick. And I really wanted to go St. Mary's. As I said, I feel like they've been deserving to go on a run. But I just can't make it happen here against this Bama team. I have them cruising to the Sweet 16.
Duke, Oregon. Are you trusting the talent of Duke to take down the Ducks?
I've gone back and forth on this game
I know, me
for
too.
so long. This game has caused me to swipe out of the bracket app numerous times and restart. Give me Cooper Flag and the Duke Blue Devils. Con Knipple, Tyrese Proctor. Give me the wagon in blue on this day of green to knock off the Ducks.
I have the same thing as you. One of those games I've gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. In I've done everything in this region. I'll be totally honest. I've done it where Arizona goes Elite Eight. I've done it where Oregon goes Elite Eight. I've obviously Duke, who I'm leaning with. I could see them getting upset to a Mississippi State or bit. Like, this region is so difficult to predict, but I'm trusting the talent around it. This Duke team is not only Cooper Flag. If you haven't seen them play, they're a deep team. They have a variety of ways to beat you. Some vets, obviously a lot of youth, but that youth is incredible on this team. Setting up the winner of BYU and Bama. You know how I said, and ironically enough, because I'm picking BYU, let's get freaky. Give me BYU to go on an Elite Eight run and squabble up with the Duke Blue Devils.
There's this 6'5" guard out of Riverton, Utah. And he goes by the name Richie Saunders. If you haven't heard of him, you're going to. Give me BYU in the defense to knock off the rolling of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Straight offense. We're going to play some D. We're going to get in the stance, slap the floor, pull our shorts up. Ball, 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 ball. We're getting active. Give me BYU, man. Give me BYU, man.
What are we, dude? Yeah, again, I can't say it every time. We do not tell each other the picks. We purposely leave it open so it's more fun to say them. Mo, Duke, BYU, shot at the Final Four, waiting. I hate that I'm doing this. It makes me sick because I don't think it's happening, but I love their path to a go Elite Eight. Give me Duke. It makes me sick. It really makes me sick with all of the question marks with the youth. I'm going with Duke, even though this is chalky.
Dude, I am too. If they get that far, they're not going to fall short, man. I just don't think until they run into one of them real other 1 seeds, 2 seeds. I have Duke, and yeah, they're young, but Proctor and Scion,
Yep.
we have some experience in there. I think they're gonna keep them level-headed. I have them rolling, man, to the Final Four.
And that leaves us with one region remaining. The Midwest, Houston, another very difficult region. The right side of the bracket to me is so much harder to fill out than the left. But Houston, Cougar on Cougar to open up. Whoa. Hey, yo. Man, talk about March Madness. But we got Houston against SIUE. What an amazing year for both these teams. SIUE getting through, making the tournament, the excitement of the crowd. It was so awesome to see. And now you get to play Houston. It's the same way I feel about Norfolk State, where this amazing year sadly has to end with a can of ass whooping that Houston is about to unload on you. Doesn't take
Yeah,
away
man.
from the year, though. Could be Samson's most talented roster. They are always good on defense. You can count on that for this Cougars team under a Samson team because you can't play for him unless you play defense. The difference with this year's team is their offense is very good. LJ Cryer, amazing. Roberts down low with the experience. Emmanuel Sharp. This Houston team is more than capable of winning a title, and it begins with a win here.
Offense, defense, shooting. Kelvin Sampson's team has it all. One of the rare cases you can say they have everything. It's always been the defense, the defense, the defense. They've
Yep.
always had one amazing scorer. They got two. They have depth. They have everything. SIUE, welcome to March Madness for the first time. Another amazing present. You get the Houston Cougars. They've played Indiana this season. They've played Illinois this season. They've taken L's. I have Houston in the first matchup here.
I will say, because I pay for ESPN Plus so that every analyst can tell me all the 1 seeds go Final Four and every 2 seed makes the Elite Eight. But their analytics thing on this game has Houston with a 100% chance to win. That is ludicrous. You at least have to do 99. The spread is 28.5. Let's move on, though, to a game of a Bulldog on Bulldog game. My Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Whoa.
Coug, Bulldog. I don't know what they were cooking. I expected this Zags team to be a 7 seed. A little surprised they're at an 8. I'm fine with it, though. I mean, I know the metrics say this is a top 10 team in a variety of categories. They're not. But still a good team nonetheless. I think this will be a great first round game. The Zags, Ryan Nembhard, one of the best, if not the best point guard in the country. He is incredible. Ike down low. Caliph Battle, though, is the X factor for the Zags. If they want to stun the world and beat Georgia and then beat Houston, it's got to be a performance from Battle on offense that can carry them. Give me the Gonzaga Bulldogs to advance and set up a game against Houston. But, man, this is going to be a fun, like I said, all these 8-9 games are great.
Total toss-ups, as you said. Crazy that the Zags are sitting here at an 8 seed, considering the talent that they have, similar to a UConn, it just hasn't gelled.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Bulldogs, the Georgia Bulldogs, and freshman Asa Newell to knock off Gonzaga. This team is young. They have a little bit of experience on the back end there. But this is a young team, man. I'm kind of taking a shot in the dark here. And just hoping, Gonzaga realizes what they've done this year is not okay and that it'll never be okay for them to do this again by taking a loss here. That's basically why I have Georgia.
So you have it as like a punishment for
punishment challenge.
What is crazy when they were talking about West Virginia is they were like, yeah, this Mountaineers team beat Gonzaga when they were 3rd in the country. And I forgot that we were that high at the start of this season, but down to earth a little bit. Anyways, if you're a metrics fan, you're going to love the Zags team. If you've seen them play every game this season, again, let me say, though, 3 quad one wins in a row, 2 over San Francisco, the one they needed the most in St. Mary's in what was the ugliest game of basketball I've seen in my life. 1 of 31 from 3 for both teams combined. The worst shooting percentage maybe in NCAA history, but
Horrible.
whatever. It'll be a great game. Clemson, McNeese. This will be a very popular upset pick. McNeese back as a 12 seed who played Gonzaga, got the barn doors burnt off, blown out, whatever you want to say, last year to the Zags. And I've said in these videos, I think it's weaker than last year's team, and I agree. But the more I've seen, the less strongly I feel about that take of mine. I think I've softened on that quite a bit. The problem, this Clemson team is deep. They're veteran led. They obviously went on the run last year. I love what they've done in the ACC. I think they are right up there with the second best team. I know they lost to Louisville, but certainly in that mix. Chase Hunter, the ability to be one of those stars in this year's tournament. Ian Shefflin, incredible as well. Give me the Clemson Tigers to advance.
I agree. McNeese, as you said, as I've looked into this, I definitely have fallen back on them just not being able to win. They could win this game,
Totally.
but I think the Tigers, they have the size advantage. They have, I know the metrics are going to favor McNeese, but I'm going to say the defensive advantage. Offensively, kind of a toss up as both of these teams can score and they have options in the offensive side of the ball. But I'm going to go with the ACC and the more consistent Tigers to win this matchup.
One that is more difficult. Purdue, led obviously by Braden Smith, and the high octane offense, the 3-point shooting offense that is at High Point. This is a team we both wanted to see get in last year, have worked their way into the tournament this year. Who do you have winning to play Clemson in the round of 32?
As much as I would love High Point and the shooting and the scoring, I'm going to go with Braden Smith, 16 and 9 assists. Trey
He's
Kaufman with 20 a game. Just, they have 3 guys who can carry the offensive load. After that, it's kind of, but
yep.
I think it's enough to get by at least this one game.
When the bracket first came out, I picked High Point. And as I've had more time, I've leaned Purdue. They're not a deep team. They have the star power, and I think the star power is enough to overwhelm High Point and get them a victory. What they do after that, I don't know. But I do agree with you. I've sobered up on the High Point getting that excited to pick an upset on Purdue strictly for the sake of picking a 13 seed to go on and win. Onto the bottom half of this bracket, we have Xavier and Texas going on to play Illinois. Who do you have in this 11 seed game?
Man, I've really gone back and forth on this one. But as horrible as the conference schedule went for this team, I have the Longhorns of Texas beating Xavier. And I'm going to pause there because who do you have?
I do as well. Xavier with the same amount of quad one victories as our good friends over at North Carolina. I'm picking Texas to win, even though I believe they're like 4-6 in their last 10. It's not like it's been this special end of the year for Texas. They've just kind of done enough to get in, and playing in the SEC obviously helps you out there. But I'm going with Texas. It's not one I feel super confident about, though.
Um, I am actually pretty confident in this one, and I'm also going to have them over the six-seeded Illinois in the first round.
Oh, this is the most like boom or bust area in the bracket. This whole bottom area. Like Illinois, when they're on, bro, they look amazing. Go on an Elite Eight run. Uh, when they play poorly, they can lose to any team on any court at any time. So, what Illinois team am I going to get here? Is it going to be the good team where they're going to easily handle Texas because they are the better team? Or are they going to let Texas hang around and then let Trey Donaldson hoop his ass off and you go home empty handed? I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm picking Illinois, but I have zero clue.
It's scary, man. They are. We've talked about boom or bust ability of these six seeds. They probably
Yep.
are the one
Yeah,
talking about
I
boom or
think so
bust
too.
ability.
I totally agree with you because I just don't know. I do love the potential of a Trey Johnson Yakachonis matchup. Two Lotto guards. Yakachonis, when he's on, that brother is big. He's an incredible passer. He scores the ball well for Illinois. Trey Johnson, we know what he can do. He's probably dropping 20 against Xavier at least. And he's probably doing it
Mhm.
against Illinois if he gets in too. So we'll have to see. I'm leaning with Illinois, but again, this is a true coin flip. It'll be down to the wire.
Yeah.
This 3-14 Kentucky, we saw as recently as last year, get upset here going up against Troy. The Wildcats are banged up. They've been banged up all year. We don't know what Lamont Butler is going to be. He was great at San Diego State. He's been great when healthy with Kentucky. I'm going to lean the offense of the Wildcats, but we've seen it, man. We've seen crazier things happen to this Kentucky team.
Yeah, I also am going to lean with the offense of Kentucky. Troy is a very good defensive team. They have
Yep.
depth, but I just do not think the offense is going to be able to keep up with the Wildcats. And yeah, it's really tough because Lamont Butler, big vital part of San Diego State run a couple of years ago to the Final Four. Here with Kentucky, injuries suck. If he's
Totally.
healthy, this team, I would,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, would maybe take them to go Final Four, Elite Eight, but a little too one-sided. And Butler's probably one of their better defensive guards as well, so that really, really hurts.
I've said this about Kentucky. I said this last year too. They have the ability to score 100 on any team. The only problem is they might allow the other team to score 102. Like that's really what it boils down to for Kentucky. I have no concern about their offense. Yes, they're banged up. They could score with the best of them. They could last year. But the defense and the injuries leave question marks. I'm still giving them this win, but there's some concern for sure. This is not an easy pencil in for a win.
Yep.
And of course, we see it. The Mountain West with Utah State, Mo. How are you feeling in this matchup against UCLA, a team you've been high on this year?
I have been high on UCLA, and Utah State was the team in the Mountain West for a majority of the conference schedule until it mattered, unfortunately. Um,
Yeah.
Rough end to the regular season, rude awakening en route to Colorado State winning the Mountain West title. They were the first piece of that domino to fall. Oh man, as much as I want to go with the Aggies here because I feel like I've been kind of disrespectful to the Mountain West, these draws are insane. And not favoring them. I'm going to go with UCLA. Do love Utah State's depth. That could be a good piece for them in this game, but just not clicking right now, and I'm fading them.
I've got UCLA as well. I love their size that they have. I think they're going to be able to be a serious problem to any team in the tournament with it. I like Utah State. I picked them to win the Mountain West, even though they were sliding, but 6-4 in their last 10. UCLA is too, but I I don't know. It's the wrong time to start giving me these pauses for concern. I'm going with the Bruins as well, leaving us with the final round of 64 matchup of the tournament. Tennessee, Wofford. Tennessee, Zakai Ziegler, love him. That kid is amazing, similar to a Ryan Nemhard who is also in this region, able to keep you in against any opponent. He defends well. He play makes well. He could still give you 10 to 15 against any opponent. I'm going with Tennessee to win. I really love them. And even if their offense struggles or if they're not hitting, the shots that they're capable of, their defense is more than good enough to keep them in a game against any opponent.
Yeah, we have seen that case in point in the SEC tournament. We've seen their offense pick it up when needed. We've seen guys like Jordan Gainey have big performances.
Oh, yeah.
Chaz Lanier playing pretty well, having a little bit of foul trouble, but yeah, those top three, along with the big Milicic, this Tennessee
Hmm.
team, man,
They're damn
they're
good.
scary. They're damn good.
Hmm.
Have them here against Wofford. I don't see a slip up, but tough
Yeah.
2-7 matchup for them in the next round.
And we've said it, or at least I've said it. I think Mo agrees with me, but Tennessee just continues to be like disrespected a little bit. Like, yeah, you're a 2 seed, but I don't know, you're not like serious. Like, you're not a real threat. Like, I'm not too
Yeah.
worried of you. Where you feel that way about all the 1 seeds, you think have all of these 1 seeds can win a title. I think almost all of the 2 seeds can. But I don't know. Tennessee's not really getting the respect they deserve. I think they're going to wake people up with their performance in this tournament. And that leads us to the top of the bracket yet again. Houston, and you have Georgia. Do you have the SEC team pulling an upset?
I do not. I have the Cougars knocking off the Bulldogs in this one. They Houston has such an advantage if they can make it to the Final Four. I think they know that they're going to be playing their ass off to try and get there.
Yeah, I have Houston, Gonzaga, and man, I would do anything to be able to say my guys. But this Houston team is just too good. They've been too good all year. They started off a little slow this year, but man, once they clicked it in gear, they've looked like a top 3 team in the country. And I feel no different about them now. Clemson, Purdue, another fun game, but give me Clemson to advance. I love the veteran team that they've got, the experience from last year. I think it bodes well against either opponent. And dark horse again to go on a deep run.
I agree. I have the Tigers here. The well-rounded ability of them on both sides of the ball compared to Purdue's just pretty solid offense. I think they're going to collapse on the defensive end against this Tigers team, and that is going to be the deciding factor in this matchup.
Illinois, Kentucky. Mo, what are you feeling?
I have Texas versus Kentucky.
Oh, great point. Great point. SEC battle.
I am going with the Longhorns to knock off Kentucky in
Damn.
this SEC rematch. As you said, it's always like one of these playing teams goes on a little run. I think Texas or Xavier could definitely be one of those teams.
Yeah. I'm not mad at all. And that I have Illinois, Kentucky. And hilariously enough, I think the winner of that game does go on to beat Kentucky. Just so happens for me, I have Illinois. So I get the winner of that game's big. It's one of our Sweet
Yeah.
16 teams at minimum. We'll see about, further. In the final game of the round of 32, UCLA, Tennessee, I went back and forth and back and forth. But I settled and I picked the Vols to take care of business. Again, like I said, been disrespected a little bit. They're going to wake people up, go on a run.
Yeah, I believe we've seen this matchup in our bracketologies, and I've picked UCLA every single time. That SEC tournament run for the Vols really showed me a lot. I've been underrating them all season long. Give me Tennessee to make it through the first weekend and head on to the Sweet 16.
And on that Sweet 16, Houston, Clemson, do you have the upset?
As much as I wanted to, we've talked about it time and time again. This Houston team is as good as they've been in a while. I have Samson and the boys knocking off the Tigers to go to the Elite Eight.
I do too. I think this is, man, I considered heavily picking Clemson. It's similar to Maryland, right? I have Houston. Oh, I had Florida going Final Four. I had Florida going Final Four. But I did say Maryland does stand a very, very good shot of playing spoiler. I feel the same way here. I think Houston wins, but Clemson is not a team I'm counting out one bit. I have Illinois, Tennessee in the bottom, so I'll just fill it. This is where the run for Illinois ends. I've got Tennessee again. Chalky. It is what it is. Houston, Tennessee. With you have Texas, Tennessee in another, you guessed it, SEC game.
Dude, our freaking Elite Eight. How many damn teams do we have?
No way.
I couldn't pull the trigger on these Cinderella runs, upset runs. I don't see. It sucks. I just feel like the chalk this year is the chalk, man.
I do too.
It's so hard, but I have Tennessee knocking off Texas, as you said, another SEC matchup here. But man, I think the Vols are on a mission.
I'm not normally like this with being chalky either, but bro, it's the way the bracket panned out for me. I can't make up upsets for the sake of having, this 13 seed in the Elite Eight. Like, if I don't feel it, I don't feel it. And Houston, Tennessee, two great defenses, two very solid offenses too. Give me, since I already semi-spoiled it, slipping up a little bit ago, the Houston Cougars to fill out my Final Four and play Duke. Brother.
Dude, this is absurd.
This
I
was
have the
not our Final Four
Houston.
last.
Nah,
We didn't have this last year.
I have Houston as well, beating Tennessee for a 1 seed matchup on the right side. 3 out of 4 1 seeds, and Auburn isn't the one. We're cooked, bro. This shit is.
It's yeah, man. It looks chalky. I loved ESPN's analysis though, where it was all 4-1 seeds just sitting. Um, Michigan State, Florida. Mo, what do we got, man? We got the same Final Four, so it makes it easy to organize. Who do you have?
Dude, this could be some recency bias. This could be whatever it is. This could be them knocking off Auburn earlier in the season. Give me the Florida Gators. This could be that CBS analyst that's always talking about Florida. Give me the Florida Gators to make it to the national championship for the first time since Billy Donovan and the boys. I'm sure you got Tom
I
Izzo,
said,
though.
yeah. I listen. I said with Michigan State, they have all of the tools to go far, and that 3-point shooting scares me. But they're still good enough to go to the Final Four. They're not good enough to beat Florida. I have the Gators advancing to go to the title game to take on the winner of Duke Houston. Since you gave your pick here, this is where the concerns for Duke arise. Give me the Houston Cougars to take on the Florida Gators in a battle for a championship. 2-1 seeds going at it. Two complete teams, solid defenses, solid offenses. What I think I know what
All I
you've got
know,
now.
all I know is we cannot be in any bracket challenges where money's on the line together.
We cancel each other
Because
out.
I have the Houston
Oh my
Cougars
goodness, man.
knocking off the inexperienced Duke Blue Devils, LJ Cryer, Sharp, the boys, making it to the championship basically on home court.
Who do you want to do this first?
I
Do
feel
you
like it's
do you
only
want to say
right.
the name at the same time?
Yes.
The winner of this year's national championship will be
2025.
3
Oh,
2
oh.
3 2 1 Florida.
The Houston Cougars. Oh.
Hey man, we swapped up when it mattered most.
When it mattered most.
When it mattered most, we made different picks. Wow.
Wow, man.
I mean, it's only
Wow.
right. It's only fair that in a year where we have the same Final Four, where we make similar upset picks, where we have certain things going on, that we end up picking different champions. Mo, the Houston Cougars are your champs.
UH.
I was about to say, I'm like, I don't think that team's in the tourney. I don't think Miami's here. They suck. Uh they are bad. But that's it, man. This 2 hour plus, this is officially our longest video on the channel. It's only fair that it would be filling out a bracket, nerding out about it. If you skipped around and made, wanted to see regions or what we thought about your team, we hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like. Please subscribe. And of course, Mo, before we go, Song of the Pod. What have you got for the people to kick off this week?
After a 2-hour episode, you thought we'd forget, but nope. Song of the Pod to kick off the March festivities for the people. I have Dark Thoughts by Little Tekka, new single that came out. Great beat. Just a classic Tekka summer song. He's back just in time to save summer. That is my pick for the week.
I have Toxic, Playboy Cardi, Skepta off of the album that we never thought would come out. It did, and it couldn't have come at a better time than this year's tournament. We hope you have an amazing rest of your week. We will have more March Madness content for you on the way, and we look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.
Later, everyone.